July 2025, Donetsk Oblast, Eastern Ukraine, Russia. War is no longer what it used to be. No trenches, no uniforms, just darkness and the roar of death in the air. In the scorched fields of eastern Ukraine, the landscape has changed forever. Firepower alone will not save you. Now, small, agile, and deadly drones rule the skies. Steel giants are hunted like prey, and every move is watched from above. This is not just a battle for territory, but a battle for technological superiority with a constant barrage of FPV attacks. In this war, every millisecond determines who lives and who dies. From Russian mortar teams caught red-handed, to rare armored vehicles reduced to scrap metal, to even North Korean missile systems reduced to ash before they can fire. This is modern warfare at its most rudimentary. Welcome to Ukraine. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us. Here, the rules are simple. Move fast, be quiet, or be wiped out. Another day on the front lines. A Ukrainian unit is racing against time and urgent retreat, carrying vital equipment while the fire continues. They are not superheroes, just tired soldiers trying to survive to fight again tomorrow. They act quickly, decisively, but this time, someone is watching. From the edge of the trees, a Russian mortar team spots them. Within seconds, the sky explodes. Shells rain down like thunder. One misses a vehicle, but sets off a nearby ammunition depot in a shockwave, fire, and flying metal. A Ukrainian soldier is wounded, but still alive. They're lucky, a drone operator mutters. But not for long. This is no longer chaos. This is a chessboard. And Ukraine has just sent its knight into battle. From a nearby trench, a reconnaissance drone zoomed in smoothly, precisely, streaming live to the command screen. No screaming, no panic, just cold calculation. They were looking for Russian mortar positions, scanning the heat between the trees. And then they hit. 4 Russian soldiers, reloading, heads down, unprepared. Target seen, locked coordinates. That was it. The FPV team was ready. Tiny deathbirds, equipped with explosives and GoPro eyes. Designed in a basement but as deadly as modern weapons. Piloted by young soldiers with gamer reflexes but at the cost of real lives. This was no Hollywood airstrike. No laser guidance, no billion-dollar technology. Just grit, skill, and death from the sky. They thought we were going to run. Wrong century. The battlefield had changed. Drones don't sleep. They don't hesitate. And when revenge is personal, it never misses the mark. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me. They thought they were safe, out of range, invisible, invulnerable. But the truth? They were dead wrong. The reconnaissance drone continued to scan the sky, sending each frame directly to the underground control center. And then the image appeared, like a gift from heaven. An open-air ammunition depot. Mortar shells stacked, anti-tank mines lying around. An entire Russian supply dump lying in the middle of a field as if they thought they were invisible. Top priority clear. Target locked. Right next to the pile of ammunition was a parked Russian armored vehicle. The same vehicle that had delivered the cargo. The crew was still in the cabin, thinking the edge of the forest would provide cover. Wrong. The Ukrainian FPV team didn't hesitate. The pilot tightened his gloves, leaned toward the screen, and let the Deathwing take off. The drone was as small as a shoebox, but it had enough explosive power to turn dreams into nightmares. It skimmed the ground, silent, agile, and locked on like a predator. Keep your hands steady until it's time to say hello. Thanks to the extremely precise coordinates from the reconnaissance team, the drone made no mistake. No fumbling, no deviation, just coolness and precision. And then the golden opportunity, the Russian crew, in their haste, had left the hatch open. Fatal mistake. With the calmness of a surgeon, the drone glided around the side of the vehicle, pressed against the hull, and slid straight through the open hatch. A second of silence, and then boom! The whole area lit up like a furnace. Shockwaves swept across the field. The screen vibrated, then turned to static. The target was obliterated. Kill confirmed. Ammo chain fire began. But the battle wasn't over. Not yet. In the distance, another Russian armored vehicle was slowly entering the village, either as reinforcements or as the next unlucky ones heading straight for the kill zone. The entire village was in ruins. Houses burned, barns destroyed, roads broken with nowhere to hide. They were walking into a trap and they didn't know it. The Ukrainian drone team immediately switched to kill mode. No rest, no hesitation, New FPV launched. No waiting, this was hunting. One drone, one kill. The first hit the side of the vehicle. The vehicle stopped, smoke rose. But it didn't explode. That meant, we're playing. The next drone locked on and stood still. There was no escape this time. No one in the vehicle, no panic, just steel, fire, and coldness. A precise hit a few seconds later, the ammunition inside caught fire. The drone's camera zoomed in to capture the entire fireball that consumed the remaining scrap metal. Target destroyed. Now only ashes remain. And in the blink of an eye, what had once been the Russian staging area was reduced to a charred black mass. This was more than a T-actic. This was a counterattack. This was how to win. Drone by drone, target by target. Sometimes, victory is not about hitting the hardest, but about hitting the enemy when they are off guard. After the ammunition depot exploded into a sea of fire, everyone thought the Russians would retreat, reconsider, and consolidate their defenses. But instead, a heavy armored personnel carrier with tracks and tracks roared forward. The sound of its engine echoed through the ruins of a ruined village. Between the charred walls and twisted steel frames of the houses, the crew believed they had found cover. But in the age of drones, there was nowhere to hide. Not anymore. Detected enemy armor moving into the industrial zone. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me. The vehicle roared, swiveled its turret, and opened fire. They saw no one but fired anyway. That was the Russian tactic now. Shoot first, guess later. The few remaining Ukrainian soldiers were around, trapped between the half-collapsed buildings. They didn't panic. They knew the rules. Crouch, change positions, call in the drone team. Enemy armored vehicles in the area. Repeat, armored vehicles present. At the drone control station, the technicians immediately took their positions. Eyes cold, fingers moving quickly across the control panel. A second reconnaissance drone was already in the air, following the target. The camera recorded every movement as the vehicle slowed down, searching for cover. And then it saw an abandoned warehouse, the walls half collapsed, but still strong enough to serve as a temporary hiding place. The Russians drove inside. In theory, a wise decision. Thick walls, steel beams, a blocked view from above. But theory doesn't stop drones. Little did they know that Ukraine had more than just FPVs. They had fiber optic drones. Drones tethered to the pilot, jam-proof, hard to detect. And that drone took off. Begin the silent strike fiber optic drone approaching. It was slow. It was fragile. But it was deadly. The pilot carefully guided the cable that stretched behind him like a thread of fate. Crossing the rubble, gliding through the smoke and fire, the drone snaked its way. And then, the target appeared. The armored vehicle, like a sleeping steel beast, had no idea that it was in the crosshairs. The drone circled, not in a hurry, not shaking. Then the pilot noticed that the hatch was still open. Vulnerability confirmed. Enter. The drone gently dove straight into the opening. It was not an explosion, but an execution. Fire erupted inside. Bullets detonated in succession. The pressure of the explosion blew the doors off. Black smoke poured from every opening. Direct hit. Vehicle destroyed. No need to continue. But war gave no one a break. A few minutes later, another armored vehicle loomed into the area, either unaware of what had just happened or simply indifferent. Either way, it was locked on. The drones pivoted quickly. This time, no need to hide. Just speed and destruction. Attack window open. Target exposed. The first drone slammed into the side of the vehicle with a clang of steel. The engine choked. No explosion, but already paralyzed. That was enough for the second drone to come in. The next hit was aimed at a weak spot. A spark erupted. If the crew had been in the vehicle, they would have left. But the drone continued. It hit a vital spot, possibly the fuel tank, possibly the ammunition, and the vehicle exploded into a blazing fireball. Another one to ash. 2 vehicles obliterated. A fiber optic strike. A precise double teaming. All in less than 10 minutes. This was not luck. This is the evolution of the battlefield. This is drone warfare mastered. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me. It is not the strongest that survives. It is the one that adapts. In Russian military doctrine, artillery is king. The MLRS are the wrath of that dynasty. They rain down shells like hail, destroying entire cities in seconds. But that dynasty is rotting, and Ukraine is not waiting. Each time a launcher fires, it leaves a trail of smoke, a roar, a heat trail like a challenge to the sky. Come and get me. And the Ukrainian drone answers. not with words but with explosives. At the edge of a forest, a Grad system has just finished firing a salvo and is rushing to retreat, but the eye above has locked on it long before. Target moving, drone ready. An FPV flies like a living arrow. No radar, no warning signal, just low-flying death. And it hits the cabin, where the crew is gasping for air. In the blink of an eye, the entire rocket depot exploded like a giant firework. Confirmed kill. Chain detonation, great success, but not the most memorable blow of the day. Another report came in. Another MLRS system had just appeared near the ruins, but this time, it was not Russian nor a Soviet legacy. It was a monster from Pyongyang. Confirmed, M191 North Korean rocket artillery. No camouflage, no movement. Parked alone as if it were invulnerable, the Ukrainian drone did not hesitate. It flew low. It hovered slowly. It was close to the vehicle. And then it crashed straight into the rear ammunition depot. The explosion was not too big, but it was enough to wake up the chaos. An uncontrolled rocket flew through the windshield. The Russian crew panicked, opened the window, and climbed out like a cramp from the fire compartment. But this time, Ukraine did not let anyone escape. The second drone followed mercilessly behind. A cold, decisive blow. The vehicle was reduced to a scorched, unrecognizable mass of metal. North Korean target obliterated. No way to recover. Glory? Maybe. But war never lets anyone dream for long. In another area, a Russian MLRS opened fire just a few kilometers from the Ukrainian front line. A bold gamble, shoot fast, retreat fast. Ukraine responded with cluster munitions. The ground shook, but the launcher survived, only the hull pockmarked by shrapnel. Vehicle damaged, retreating. They thought they had escaped, but the overhead cameras were still tracking every meter they drove. Another FPV drone was launched. The first hit the tractor, sending the entire launcher tumbling to the side of the road. Still not burned. Not enough. Send another. The second drone came in like a cold knife. No warning, no escape. A direct hit, and this time, nothing stood up. We have just witnessed a redefined war where the silence is broken, not by the sound of tank tracks, but by the cold hum of propellers and the flash of remote-controlled strikes. Ukraine's drones are more than weapons. They are precision, timing, and adaptability. Hit by hit, hunt by chase, they have taken down combat systems that Russia considers its treasures, from old Soviet artillery batteries to rare rocket monsters from North Korea. But amid all the destruction, one question remains unanswered. Is this the true future of clean, fast, technological warfare? Or is it just a temporary illusion before a dirtier, bloodier chapter awaits? Has Ukraine cracked the asymmetrical formula? Or is Russia simply stalling for time to prepare a wave of conventional power that no drone swarm can stop? The answer lies in you. Leave your comments below. No fluff, no slogans. We want to hear real opinions from people who dare to ask the hard questions. And if this is the kind of war you want to understand, not just watch, but really analyze and dissect, then subscribe to Military Knowledge. Because here, we don't sugarcoat war, we decode it. Every battle, every weapon system, every question that gets straight to the heart of the matter. And trust me, the next one is coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our in-depth analyses and the latest updates on global security, military technology, military knowledge, and strategic developments